Polyphemus the Cyclops has blocked Ulysses' men inside his cave. With no possibility of escape. At the back of the cave, the sailors tremble with fear. The Cyclops, this terrible monster who flouts the laws of hospitality sacred to the Greeks, has already killed 3 of them. Each one thinks he will be the next. They all pray, invoking the gods. In the semi-darkness, the faces of Ulysses' faithful captains, Eurylochus and Pelides, can be made out. Eurylochus, bravest among the brave, had nevertheless warned the king of Ithaca about the dangers awaiting them on this island. But Ulysses, curious to get a glimpse of these 3 mysterious Cyclops, paid no heed. He no longer listens to anyone. He, the man of twists and turns, the wise one, isn't the same since they left Troy. He, more than anyone, should implore the goddess Athena, who was his protector throughout the Trojan War. Ulysses doesn't pray, however. It is as though the gods have become foreign to him. Or perhaps he senses that there is another way to escape from the Cyclops' lair. A solution that resides not in the goodwill of the gods or inspired by them, but in themselves and themselves only. Lost in thought, Ulysses scans the floor of the cave. A shape catches his eye. It's a log, an olive log almost as thick as a ship's mast. Perhaps this is the club the Cyclops uses when he goes hunting. This simple piece of wood gives him an idea. He's going to carve and sharpen this log to make a stake. Seeing their leader's energetic efforts with a piece of wood, the sailors cease their lamenting and resign themselves to helping him. Once finished, the stake is concealed beneath a pile of debris. Let everyone be reassured, explains Ulysses. At nightfall, they will see that he is true to his nickname of the Cunning. He has a plan to take down the Cyclops, and he needs 2 volunteers to execute it. The sailors look warily at their leader. Since the first day of this journey to Ithaca, Ulysses has made one bad decision after another. A further mistake could lead even more rapidly to their downfall. They have always shown obedience to their king. But today, they demand to know what the plan is before agreeing to it. Ulysses then points to the 2 large wineskins brought back from their expedition to the land of the Cicones, gifted from the priest of Apollo in exchange for his life. He will make the Cyclops drink until he's drunk and falls into a drunken stupor. Ulysses then kneels down and, speaking in a whisper, explains the rest of his plan to his companions. Night has fallen. The boulder blocking the cave entrance slowly rolls back. The Cyclops has returned. He's bringing his sheep back from the pasture. At the sight of the monster, the sailors take refuge behind a rock, quaking with fear. In one swift movement, the Cyclops grabs two men by the waist. He knocks them out with a gigantic punch and immediately starts dismembering them. He then devours them. He leaves nothing, neither flesh nor entrails, nor marrow-filled bones. Ulysses' companions whimper, cry, throw up their hands imploring Zeus. They beg the Cyclops to spare their lives. They're answered with a growl, followed by a thunderous belch. Ulysses is horrified, but he knows they need to act fast. So, overcoming his fear, he steps forward and brandishes a bowl filled with wine. To accompany your meal, Cyclops, here is the wine of the Cicones. It's the best wine on earth. The Cyclops grabs the bowl and greedily empties it. His mind already fuzzy, his speech slurry, he confirms that this is indeed a nectar worthy of the gods. And he adds that if he can drink the wine of the Cicones again, he will give Ulysses a gift. Ulysses then serves him a second bowl of wine. Satisfied, the Cyclops will now give him the gift he promised. But first, he wants to know his name. Nobody, answers Ulysses. Nobody? Your name is Nobody? Yes, Nobody. My mother and father and all my companions call me by this name, Nobody. The Cyclops nods. Perfect. Well, he'll eat Nobody last then. This will be his gift to him. With these words, the Cyclops gulps down the rest of the wine. And just as Ulysses had planned, he falls into a heavy, drunken sleep. Without wasting a second, the men grab the olive stake they've patiently carved. Joining forces to lift it, they climb onto the sleeping body of the Cyclops, take aim, and with all their might, ram the formidable weapon into the monster's eye. The Cyclops wakes up letting out a tremendous roar, which can be heard on the far side of the island. Alerted by the cries of Polyphemus, his fellow Cyclops who live in the caves and surrounding caverns quickly appear at the cave entrance. Seeing the boulder that's preventing Ulysses and his companions from escaping, they call out to their friend worried. What is happening, Polyphemus? What is wrong with you that you cry out like that? Are you being killed by trickery or by force? Polyphemus the Cyclops, in agonizing pain, answers them with a howl. Yes, he is being killed. They have put out his eye by trickery, not by force. His fellow Cyclops are surprised. They want to know who is the perpetrator of this crime, who dares to attack the mighty Polyphemus in his cave. And Polyphemus answers them, nobody. Nobody? Repeat the other Cyclops. So all is well then. If nobody has hurt him, let Polyphemus cease his screaming and let them return to their beds. And if he's hurt himself, let him implore his father, the god Poseidon, instead. And the group of Cyclops leave, annoyed at having had their sleep disturbed. As for Polyphemus, he remains laid out on the floor, grimacing in pain. The danger has passed. The men can breathe again. But now, how to get out of Polyphemus's cave? They all turn to their king. Without a word, Ulysses points to the sheep gathered in a corner. They are bleating persistently. Their udders are heavy. At dawn, Polyphemus will have to let his animals out to graze. His companions will therefore cling onto their bellies. Polyphemus, now blind, will not be able to see them, and their escape is assured. Hope is revived in the men's hearts. But that night, they all remain on their guard, watching for the slightest movement from the sleeping monster. At sunrise, just as Ulysses predicted, Polyphemus, blinded, bloody, but back up on his feet again, rolls the boulder aside. He calls his animals, which immediately head towards the cave opening. As they cross the threshold, Polyphemus feels their backs to make sure that no one is straddling them. Ulysses and his companions have managed to escape. They're free. The sailors are soon back aboard their ships, safe and sound, but traumatized by having seen 5 of them devoured by Polyphemus. Ulysses cannot contain his anger and rages at the Cyclops. Since this monster flouted the most sacred rules of hospitality, he only got what he deserved. And if anyone asks him about his blinded eye, let him answer that his eye was pierced by the valiant Ulysses, king of Ithaca, son of Laertes. From his mountaintop, Polyphemus picks up a gigantic rock. Sensing danger, Eurylochus and Pelides order the sailors to row quickly away from the shore. The Cyclops then hurls the rock with all his might at the exact spot where their ship had just been a moment before. The ships sail away from the island of the Cyclops, but on board, the men continue to tremble at the terrifying sound of Polyphemus's voice. Polyphemus calls out to his father, Poseidon, the god of the sea. He entreats him to avenge him, to destroy Ulysses. Let the man who put out his sole eye never make it back to his home in Ithaca. And if he is fated nonetheless to return to his homeland in his fine palace, then let Poseidon ensure that this does not happen before he has suffered countless misfortunes and lost all his companions. Poseidon, the god of the sea, the earth shaker, the brother of Zeus, is furious. Ulysses deserves punishment, and this punishment can only be death. Zeus, the god of all gods, listens attentively to his brother. In his heart, he agrees with him. He is tired of the antics of this Ulysses, who has persisted in his godless attitude since he left Troy. Let us be done with it. Yes, let us prepare a miserable death for him. It will serve as an example to the other mortals. But Athena intervenes once again. They have already had this discussion concerning the fate of Ulysses. Didn't she convince her father to spare the life of the man who doubts the power of the gods? Wouldn't the best way of getting him back on the right path be by helping him return home to Ithaca? This will ensure that a grateful Ulysses will spread the word all over the earth that the gods of Olympus are good and just and necessary to the mortals. But Poseidon refuses to listen. Impiety is a sacrilege. If Zeus is no longer capable of punishing those who offend the gods, then let him surrender his throne to others more competent than himself. Does he want to incur his brother's wrath by giving in once again to the whims of Athena, who everyone knows is his favorite daughter? If he does not obtain redress immediately, Poseidon promises Zeus terrible reprisals. And who knows, maybe this time, the gods absent from Olympus will ally themselves with the god of the seas to avenge this new affront. Zeus hears his brother's threat. Athena and Poseidon have always had a problematic relationship woven with relentless battling and mutual loathing for one another from the very outset. And Zeus does not intend to be a hostage to their quarrel. So Zeus speaks. He does not fear Poseidon, but he will do him justice. From his mountaintop, Polyphemus the Cyclops demanded that Ulysses and his companions suffer the worst misfortunes without, however, asking for his death. Well, we can do no more than what the offended Cyclops himself wished. Let Ulysses be struck by misfortune. Let him suffer in any way Poseidon sees fit. But he will not die. In this way, justice will be rendered by the god of all gods, and Poseidon will have no cause for complaint. And to prove his brother that Ulysses' crime will not go unpunished, Zeus brandishes the aegis and invites Poseidon to seize his trident. Strong winds immediately start blowing over Ulysses' fleet. Lightning strikes one of the ships, breaking it into smithereens. After a storm lasting many days and nights, calm finally returns. In the distance, the outline of an island comes into view. This island is protected by a bronze wall that seems indestructible. Ulysses recognizes the island of Aeolia. Aeolus, one of the ancient gods. Grandson of Cronus, cousin of the great Zeus. Aeolus is the keeper of the winds. He has the power to unleash them or calm them as he pleases. Aeolus has 12 children, 6 girls and 6 boys. He gave his daughters to his sons for wives, and every day they feast together. When Ulysses and his companions introduce themselves, Aeolus welcomes them with open arms. He treats them with great kindness. In exchange for his hospitality, Aeolus wants Ulysses to tell him about his life, this life of which he knows nothing. He who has spent his entire existence on this island, cut off from the rest of the world. He is thirsty for knowledge. He asks countless questions about people, places, and the famous Trojan War. For over a month, Ulysses and his companions indulge in the delights of a pleasurable and carefree existence. The most refined dishes are served to them, accompanied by the best wines. When Ulysses and his companions are ready to leave, Aeolus gives Ulysses a gift, an invaluable gift. He hands him an ox-hide bag inside which he has locked all the winds that might hinder Ulysses' return to Ithaca. All except for one, the west wind Zephyr, the only wind capable of taking them serenely back to their homeland. For 9 days, Ulysses' fleet sails. On the lead ship, Ulysses mans the helm himself. He refuses to entrust it to anyone, fearful that some clumsy action might cause them to deviate from their path. Does he feel the dark looks of his men behind his back? All focused on this mysterious ox-hide bag hoisted on the ship's bow by their leader? What fabulous treasure does it contain that Ulysses intends to keep for himself and not share with them? Ithaca is almost in sight now. But on the 10th day, exhausted by his all-night vigils, Ulysses drifts off to sleep. This is just the moment the sailors were waiting for. As soon as they see that Ulysses has dozed off, they take down Aeolus' oxide bag. One of them slowly unties the cord that fastens it. A mighty tornado suddenly engulfs the ships, rips the sails, breaks off the masts, and blows the men overboard. And the winds, once again, unrelentingly, blow Ulysses and his remaining companions back out to sea, far away from Ithaca. The fleet drifts for days, carried along by the winds. It soon finds itself once again in front of Aeolus' island. Ulysses relates his misadventure to Aeolus and begs him to give him a favorable wind once again. But Aeolus' reaction is no longer the same. If Ulysses is the victim of all these misfortunes, it is because he is pursued by the wrath of an almighty god. And it is forbidden to help a man who has become the enemy of the gods. Ulysses is cursed. Aeolus may be right. Could it be that he is cursed?